Strap in, because this one is gonna be painful. Hello, Chaos Gang, and welcome back to my bullshit. My name is Sybil. Today I'm here alone. If you want any of my socials or alleys, they're down in the description below. So we've looked at this subreddit one time before, and one time only, because it's pretty hard to get through, but this is not how women work. The short explanation is it's people, typically men, just giving the most wrong ideas about women possible. The long explanation is this video, so let's get into it. I'm like looking at them and I'm trying to read it out loud, but it's so hard to process in my brain that somebody says these things. Girls be like, I don't masturbate, but they prefer tampons over pads. Do you think shoving a piece of cotton into the vaginal canal, like pleasurable act, that there's just pleasure within that of sticking a dry cotton ball, the equivalent of like dry cotton, up a cooch? I don't even know what the equivalent would be for somebody with like a penis. Like, do you like to stick dry cotton up your asshole and then get pleasure from that just because there's a spot there that makes you nut? There is nothing sexual about somebody having their period, sitting down on the toilet, already in a ton of pain, shoving dry cotton up their cooch. I do not know how to tell you any more than that how not pleasurable it is. It's not a good time. See, this subreddit is the reason I truly believe we shouldn't separate people based on their genitalia during sex ed in fucking school. Because if you're walking around life thinking that people who decide to use tampons are doing it for sexual pleasure, I don't know how to help you. You should have been given the education, even if you don't have a vagina, because it's just like a common knowledge thing that I feel like people should know, especially if you may have a partner that has a vagina in the future. You can't be walking around thinking that, my God. See, this is why this subreddit is painful. This is why we've only done it once. All right, somebody said, adult men date very young women so they control and manipulate them. 20-year-olds don't have the life experience and dating experience to stop bullshit like tracking your every move. Leave. Date many people, set your boundaries and stick to them. Have fun. Reasonable advice. But then somebody responds with, that's just what older women tell each other to feel good. Most guys dating younger women are doing so because she's in her prime looks-wise. She has far less baggage, she's more agreeable, and she usually has less trauma and a much lower body count. Telling on themselves to the highest degree. Let's break this down. The first one says, adult men date very young women so they can control and manipulate them. This person's disagreeing, but says the exact same thing within she's more agreeable, as in she's easier to manipulate. She has far less baggage and less trauma. Once again, adding to the easy to manipulate, no life experience, so older men prey on younger women for literally the thing that the first person said. You're agreeing with it with different language to try and feel better about it. But everything you're saying is in agreement with the original comment. The only difference is you think it's okay. 50, 60-year-old men want to date freshly 18-year-olds. I love the 87 downvotes on his comment. Like, he got more downvotes than the original comment got upvotes. That's pretty funny. Also, that's just what older women tell each other to feel good. I don't think older women want the creepy 60, 70-year-old that's preying on 18-year-olds. I think they actually are probably good off that. Don't think it's much of a loss for them. It's just ain't no way is the title of this one, and that's exactly how I feel. Okay, this one's like physically painful to have to read. I have to date my own nationality because how else am I gonna explain to her she needs to make the white towel red on our wedding night? If you don't get what he's trying to say, he's trying to say I need to date virgin women so that way on our wedding night is the first time we have sex. But he's using an absolute debunked myth that has been debunked for so long. Shit he's talking about is ancient fucking Grease type beat. Basically, it's the myth that a girl, when you first sleep with her, bleeds because you're like popping her cherry. Sorry, there's a car going by. It snowed a lot, so I'm pretty sure that's the scrapey car. The one that... Plow. That's the word I'm looking for. We found it. We found it. We got there. If you don't know what the cherry is, it's basically like your hymen, which is a thin layer of skin in the vagina. religion for so long, dating back to like Roman Greek times, basically was of the belief that women should wait until marriage to have sex and that their hymen should break, and the way you know that a virgin is pure is if she bleeds. That's where the myth comes from. So that way, like when dads were selling off their daughters for marriage and stuff like that, the guy could come back and be like, well, she didn't bleed the first time we had sex, so clearly she's not a virgin. Like it's pretty messed up where you can value a daughter at a certain price if she was a virgin, and the hymen is the way you can tell. The hymen isn't, first of all, the same in everybody's bodies. It can form differently, but for a lot of people, it's not just a layer of skin that covers a hole so that way nothing can get into it, and if something does, that means it's been broken. For some people, it fully forms. For some people, it minimally forms. For some people, it's just like on the surrounding wall. It's not always just like a flat cover of like a jar. And the hymen itself, like over time, is gonna thin. It can break from random fucking things like horseback riding. It can break from just time. It can break from jumping a little too high. It's not some like plastic covering to a lid that you have to like force through for it to break. And some people might bleed like a minimal amount when it breaks. Some people don't bleed at all. Some people feel it. Some people don't feel it at all. It's ridiculous that grown men are expecting their grown wives to have their hymen break and bleed on their wedding day. Once again, exactly why everybody should not be separated for fucking sex ed is like we have grown men walking around expecting their wives' hymens to break the first time they have sex. I'd hate to see how he reacts when he realizes that, like,
hey, this isn't how it's supposed to go. What's happening? Why is your hymen already broken? Did you cheat on me? Did you lie to me about being a virgin?
She's sitting there like, I don't know where my hymen is. Ah! You know, like, not every single human body is the same, so don't take what I said for every single human body ever out there, but that's just like the general rule of thumb is like, it's gonna break pretty young, and it's most likely gonna break from activities that have nothing to do with intercourse. Oh good, I'm glad the sun is going directly where I don't need it to go. I'll be over here now. So this was originally posted on r Off My Chest, where people go to like state things that they don't feel like they can tell other people, but it was reposted to this subreddit and you're gonna see why. I avoid older women because I think they become looser. So I'm 24 and I only date women 18 to 22. Once they surpass 22, I start to think, due to a lot of promiscuous activities in society pushing it to be normal, I'll get downvoted for this, that her body part gets worn out, especially with bigger sizes. So yeah, I just wanted to get this off my chest and see if any other guys agree with me. Tell me you don't understand anatomy without saying you don't understand anatomy. Oh my god. This is another myth about vaginas that for some reason we just never get rid of. No matter how many people like explain it, tell you, it won't go away. The vagina is a muscle. Oh god, I didn't feel like I had to go all like doctor because of this subreddit. After intercourse, it goes back to where it started. Now, some people are just naturally tighter than others. You know, all bodies are different. But the way it typically will work is it will be super tight if the person is not aroused enough. The more aroused the person with the vagina is, the more space it's gonna be to let you in. So what this man is kind of admitting is that a lot of people he sleeps with are not that sexually attracted to him, and he's blaming that on older women being looser, which is just not scientifically or factually true. Once again, it's a muscle, and after intercourse it will go back to normal, and being turned on and aroused is what opens it. So this guy's telling on himself, basically, that the people he's sleeping with just maybe aren't that attracted once they're in the bedroom with him. And instead of doing a little research or understanding, he's blaming older women for it, which is also weird because he's saying anyone over 22 is old, and he's 24, so I can see this mindset getting very scary in about 20 years, not even. I'm 24 and only date 18 to 22. I'm fucking 23 and I couldn't imagine dating somebody younger than 21 because you can't even go to a bar with me. I guess you could say I like them a little older though. You know, I was about to turn 25 this month, so what can I say? I like the cougs. It's just, this is why it's so hard to read. My god. I just can't believe that these are grown people. Like, adults. This next one's kind of dangerous. We'll get into it. The only difference between a guy shooting his shot and a guy harassing you is how attractive he is. Somebody responds with, this is exactly how girls work, not how girls work. A hot guy flirting with them is hot. An ugly guy flirting with them is creepy. Men don't do this. Most men I know would be polite to a woman flirting with them regardless of how she looks because we are polite and understand the struggle of gathering courage to talk to someone you like. You're so fucking dense. Like, I don't know how else to put it. You are so fucking dense. It's because women are mean, and it's because they don't like guys that they don't find attractive. It does not matter if a guy is ugly or attractive. If he's coming up to a woman and he's being a douchebag, if he's staring at her a lot, just overall having a creepy vibe, they're gonna get rejected no matter what. You see it all the fucking time at bars. Like, if you have ever left your home and gone to a bar, you will see guys that are conventionally attractive getting rejected all the time because they just went at it in the weirdest fucking way possible. I've seen my own friends reject guys that would probably have been their type, that they come up and they just like lay it on too heavy or are just acting weird up until they come over, or they're just like drunk guys that are just rambling and being way too much. They get rejected too. Like, if you're creepy, you're creepy. Your attractiveness is not gonna change that. And then with the guy who's like, most men will just turn them down politely. I don't know how to explain this to people who don't want to hear it because I know like this is the kind of guy that doesn't want to hear this. Women and feminine people in general typically are much more scared of men. We have statistics to back up why. Assault statistics, DV statistics, sexual assault statistics, all to back this up, that men are typically, not always, but typically the perpetrator, and therefore women tend to feel a little more fear. So sometimes they might be a little ruder when rejecting somebody, sometimes they might be nicer, sometimes women react by being like, haha, that's nice, thank you, get away from me, and sometimes they react with, get the fuck away from me, you fucking creep. Both are valid depending on what you're fucking saying to them and if you're scaring them. So if your argument is men are nice when they reject women, which from my experience, from what I've seen, isn't even true, it's because there's not that extra added layer of fear of that woman being a creep or somebody that's gonna come hurt him. Like, that's just like not an added layer for most people. Obviously not all, obviously men can be assaulted too, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying typically in a society, in this society, which I know we live in a society, but we fucking do, that's how it is, that's what the statistics prove. And women from a young age are taught to fear. It's like, do you have your pepper spray? Do you have your keys? Do you have a pocket knife? Are you looking around you? Don't wear your headphones at night. Like, all of this stuff because of men. So like you can't be shocked that when a guy comes up to a woman and is entirely creepy if she's like, get the fuck away from me, you creep, versus a girl coming up to a man and being like, hey, how are you? Can I get your number? And him being like, oh my god, no thanks. Like, it's just not even the same playing field. But your blanket statement of men rejecting women nicely isn't very true based on, you know, at least what I've seen. I've seen a lot of men get mad and like just attack women's appearance for like coming up to them. So I don't even know what you're on about. There's just so much to be said. I feel like this guy's response could be a whole video on its own, so I'm just gonna move on. I am 6 foot and I sent my wife to the hospital because they said she had ovarian cyst and I popped them from going too deep. Let's just say all the nurses that passed by the room either gave me a thumbs up or were flirt with me after they read the chart. This one makes me want to vomit in my mouth. This one genuinely makes me want to throw up. That is so fucking gross. Let's be honest, I don't believe him. You know, I believe maybe it popped from sex, I guess, is possible, I don't know. But I don't believe the flirting and stuff like that. A lot of times people will take others just being friendly and nice as flirting, and in a situation with like nurses and doctors where they're typically supposed to be nice and friendly and inviting, it sounds like this man probably just took it as flirting. But let's say that's actually what happened and this man's spot on. Why are you bragging on Facebook? Your wife had to be sent to the hospital over ovarian cysts and you're bragging on Facebook about fucking her so deep that they popped and other women flirted with you. So gross. I'm sorry, that's fucking disgusting. I'm picturing it, don't want to be picturing it. This is disgusting. I just have to move on. I wanted to go more, I wanted to go deeper, hey, but I don't anymore. Man sends wife a spreadsheet of all the times she denied him sex. It says the date. So he's asking almost every single day, it looks like. And then most times it's a no. There's 3 yeses in there. And then he writes an excuse for every single reason that she said no. Let's go over some of her excuses, which, by the way, when somebody doesn't want to sleep with you, it's not an excuse. They just don't want to sleep with you, and you should respect that. The title says don't marry people with low sex drive and then pretend like they owe you sex, which is true and accurate. But also, if your partner is used to having sex with you and they stopped for some reason, maybe look to see if there's a deeper reason. Is it you? Are they no longer attracted to you? Is there a lack of communication going on? Do they not feel respected? Do they not feel like they're reciprocating in the bedroom? Like, there's a lot of things and factors that can go into it that you could just, like, I don't know, fucking talk about instead of make a spreadsheet to try to guilt her into sleeping with you. Sorry, we haven't even gotten into the reasons yet, but it blows my fucking mind. I'm watching the show, Friends rerun. So it sounds like she's unwinding maybe after work or after doing something all day. She's watching her show. I feel sweaty and gross. I need a shower. Didn't shower until next morning. Maybe she felt sweaty and gross and didn't want to have sex with you, but also for some reason didn't have the energy to shower. Or maybe she's just so used to you guilting her when she says no that she feels the need to lie to you. Just throwing that out there too. Nonverbal. I'm exhausted. Yes, no, people need sleep. This time she slept with him. I'm still a bit tender from yesterday. So you asked the exact next day and she's like, hey, I'm hurting down there. I feel like you should just respect that. Next, nonverbal. I'm trying to watch the movie, fell asleep 15 minutes later. So she was watching a movie and she was tired. I'm too drunk and I ate too much. Bitch, that is such a valid reason. Me. I won't have time to get showered and ready for dinner. We were 20 minutes early, so she wanted to make sure y'all were on time and didn't estimate correctly on how much time that would take. I just came back from the gym. I feel gross. Didn't shower until the next morning. I also would not want to have sex right after coming back from the gym sweating, even if I decide not to shower right away. Nonverbal. I have to be up early. Exhausted. Once again, valid. Nonverbal. Then she said yes. Then you're too drunk. Some people don't want to sleep with drunk people. Wow, crazy fucking concept. I feel gross. Valid. I'm not feeling good. I ate too much. Valid. I'm sweaty and gross and I'm tired. Valid. Nonverbal. I might be getting sick. Valid. I still don't feel 100%. Valid. I need a shower. I feel gross. Valid. I'm too tired. Valid. Then she says yes. No. Just no. Nonverbal. I'm watching my show. I don't want to miss anything. So first of all, as far as reasons to not want to do it go, these all sound like valid reasons. I mean, every reason is valid if you don't want to sleep with somebody. But if you are suspicious that there's like an underlying reason why she doesn't want to, then maybe talk to her about it. And if you don't feel like there's an underlying reason and you feel like all of her reasons were 100% and true and honest, they're all like valid reasons. Like, I don't understand how people do this. Instead of communicating with your partner, talking it through, trying to get to the root issue, if there is one, maybe it really is just a low sex drive thing, who knows? But like, there's all these other options, but instead you make a spreadsheet to try to make her feel guilty. And I know he doesn't believe her because the things he's putting, like, it was a rerun. Didn't shower till the next morning. We were 20 minutes early. Like, it's clear he doesn't even believe her. So it's like, maybe talk about that if you really don't believe her. I don't know. It's just so gross. And the way it's just labeled excuse. Maybe you're fucking crusty. I wouldn't want to sleep with you. If my partner came to me with a spreadsheet with the word excuse for the times I didn't want to sleep with them, I'm never sleeping with them again. I'm leaving. Like, this is just wild how people think that this is okay. Like, just because she's your wife doesn't mean she's your property. What the fuck? And he's asking like every single day. And it's not like she never says yes either. Like, there's yeses in here, even if it's not adequate or what he wants, but it's like, figure it out. Don't be a weirdo. There's some in here that are worse. I might do a part 2 if y'all want it. Multiple uses of a ruler. Mom, why are you bringing a ruler to your room? Boys, dick measuring. And then girls. And it's like, are they measuring wetness here? Like, do you think that it just, do you think it's like a faucet that just runs and that like people with vaginas are just measuring their squirt on a ruler? Or I don't even know what the thought process with this one was. I genuinely don't. I don't know how we went from dick measuring to like wetness measuring with the ruler. And at first I was like, do they mean like clit size? Cause that doesn't make sense. And then I was like, no, they mean like drip wise. And I'm like, who the fuck? And that wouldn't even be an accurate measurement because like when something drips, it splashes. Like, it's all not coming into the same place unless like you're doing it into like a glass jar and then pouring it on the ruler perfectly and then measuring it that way. I'm leaving. Socials are in the description. Like the video if you liked it. It helps me out a lot. It really does. Subscribe if you want to see more of it. I guess I'm troubled. My face is troubled. I feel troubled. I'm gonna go read some more of New Moon. I'm gonna do a good old-fashioned hand job to end the video. Bye.